Welcome to the Creative Entrepreneur Show. What do we have this week, Bryon?
Hey, Rosh, happy to be here this week. I want to talk about AI in advertising, and I'm not talking about using the technology of AI, to make your advertising. I'm talking about actually mentioning that you're using AI in your advertising. And then also, I want to talk about that open letter against AI signed by some pretty big artists like Stevie Wonder, Frampton, Billie Eilish, and just what they're talking about with that open letter and the protections that they're looking for. What do you have going on?
Well, I want to talk about blogging and AI. And also, I have a very simple trick that you can use to apply to your prompts and to help you understand really how to rank better. Good for SEO. And then from there, I want to talk about Chat GPT 5. Is it coming out this summer?
Nice. Yeah, I've been wondering about when the next evolution of GPT is coming out. So that's exciting. So, all right. I want to talk about AI and advertising. Now, it's April, and I'm a big golf fan, in case you didn't know, but I've been watching the Masters right now. And what I've been noticing in the commercials is that a lot of these golf manufacturers, they're hopping on the AI bandwagon in terms of advertising, that they're using AI to help design these golf clubs.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm just, yeah, I'm curious about the perspective of people, and maybe our audience can use this, the buzzword of AI right now, to actually promote their product or what it is that they're doing in ways that they're using AI. So, for example, I've talked to some clients that we've signed as a social media company, and I let them know in some ways and which ways that we're using AI, and letting them know that, hey, we're not plumbers, for example, but we can speak the language of plumbers much better now using AI. And using the language on your website, having AI rewrite it, and we're able to represent ourselves as, represent you better by using this technology. So these are some of the ways that I'm advertising, once I'm talking to someone, a potential client, and they're wondering, hey, how are you going to make this content? So I'm actually talking about how I'm using it to our advantage. So, is this something that, as if you're an artist or you're an entrepreneur or, any sort of, business owner, do you want to actually mention to your clients or advertise to people that you're using AI technology as a part of your product? And does that make you look better? Does that maybe make you look worse? And I don't have the answer to this right now, but I thought it was a creative conversation because I'm definitely seeing in a lot more advertising. What are your thoughts on this, Rush?
I think you're right in the fact that you need to have the conversation, but it depends on the client. It depends on what you're selling. Because in some cases, it's a good thing. You're more efficient. You're able to, as you put it, talk their language. You're able to use it as a benefit for that client. But there's also times where it's going to be a benefit to say, we don't use AI.
Mhm.
It's human created, or especially in the creative world. This is my creation. I am the creator of this. And that's important too. So it will depend on the perception of is it a value to that person? And I think ultimately that's it. Is it a
Right.
value to the client? Well, if I just say, hey, I'm making all this great AI work, they may not see the value. But if you say, I'm using AI to help you make more money or be more efficient for you, then yes, good idea.
Or help us engineer a
Yeah.
superior product and stuff like that. So yeah, just it was a curious thing and something that I thought that our audience would be, just another thing for them to think about when they're marketing their company or their product or
Yeah,
whatever it is that they're
absolutely.
doing, and whether or not you want to mention it. So
Yeah.
all right, throwing it back your way, a simple trick, and I love simple, for
Yeah.
for blogging with AI. What do you got going on?
So blogging with AI, people are doing that, and quite often people are just putting a prompt in there and just letting it run. But there should be a little bit more, and you've actually expressed this a number of times. You really need to get a little bit more, especially if you want to be different. Again, garbage
Mhm.
in, garbage out. If you put generic, just state what it is that you want, and it's going to be very similar. We just used two AIs in a test, and we had some similarities in the list of things that we were working with, although we're using completely different AIs. Now, I realized I was using the lower version of the one I was using, but still, because yours were better. But the point being is that if you are blogging and you're blogging for ranking, keywords are still important.
Mhm.
Keywords, the number of times your keyword is mentioned is important. And I know some people are telling you that that's not the case. It's just good quality content. look, it's math, and keywords, numbers matter in math. And so if you want to rank, say, for a specific topic, go to Google, put it in, and see what are, say, the blogs or the sites that are ranking number one. Go there and use a very simple tool on your computer. For me, on the Mac, it's Command F. Maybe for you, I don't know what it is, but it's find. And then
Yep,
let's
it's
say it's
control
cat,
F.
and then I'll highlight all the times cat is put into play. And so you can say, it'll say, okay, cat is mentioned 10 times. Well, now you can tell the AI, I would like you to write this article mentioning cat 12 times. So that's a very easy, simple thing to do. You can certainly get in a lot deeper. Like you can find out, go under the developer tools and then look at the code and put cat and see how many ways they've put cat in, maybe under the radar. That could
Right.
also help you a little bit too. But just simply knowing what is ranking for that keyword and how many times it's there. That's a very simplistic part of SEO, but for basic blogging, why not? Why not
Right.
just tell the AI, this is what I need? And maybe it's a few different keywords to weave them into the article to help you rank for certain keywords and help drive some traffic.
What I love about that piece of advice is it's your old school SEO trick and piece of advice, but it's a way
Yeah.
to apply that old school trick to the new technology and
Yeah.
update your prompt and give it better information so that way you get a better answer out. So yeah, it's a great trick. Very good.
All right. So
All
what do
right,
you
so
got next?
moving on. So it's been a lot in the news. A lot of artists and musicians, for good reason, are getting concerned about the advances of AI technology, and certainly in its ability to recreate video or voice and their
Mhm.
likeness. Artists work very, very hard to protect their likeness and their creative, what they have created. And this technology, it's posing a big competition with them because there's the potential to be able to use AI and create brand new art that could potentially dilute the royalty pool. So,
Ah,
imagine having an AI song get on the radio and all of a sudden be a big radio hit. And then all of a sudden, they don't have to pay royalties to anybody for this hit. And, it's another way that the artist can start losing money. So this is, it's a big deal. And it's something that, they don't want 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, someone to be able to take a video of them or their voice and create a brand new song and say, hey, I mean, we've seen examples of this online where they're like, hey, a brand new Beatles song created by AI. And, and that should be eye
oh,
raising
and
for
my
people.
favorite, Sinatra singing "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
Right. Yes. Yeah. When you blend, a classic with a different voice and stuff, but those are examples of really what this technology can do, and it can do it so quick. But what happens if all of a sudden there's a smash radio hit from somebody using this, and they're
Yeah,
using Sinatra's voice or something like that? His estate's not making money on that.
right.
But so this act is trying to protect it to prevent it from ever happening, or if it does happen, making sure these artists are
There are
properly
remedies. Yeah.
compensated. The state of Tennessee has already passed what they like to call the Elvis Act. I love that. I thought the acronym
Nice.
was great, but it stands for Ensuring Likeness, Voice, and Image Security. So it is the
Nice.
Elvis Act. Yeah,
Very
that's.
nice.
You know what though? They
He probably
probably
used
came
AI
up. They probably came up with it using AI, which
to
the
figure
irony
that
is
out.
now, but
Nice.
that's just good. But yeah, so really, when we talk on this show about using AI, we're not advocating people wholesale ripping off artists and different things. We're
Not at all.
advocating to
Not with
use
all
it.
those guitars in the background
Right.
behind you.
Certainly. Yeah. I mean, if you see us on our YouTube, you'll be able to see that I'm certainly trying my best to come from the musicians' standpoint and to their defense because yeah, I mean, my band and I, we take a lot of pride in the fact that we create our music. I
Yeah,
don't have AI write lyrics for us or anything like that. And maybe song ideas or maybe, you know, checking music theory to make sure that, some ideas or changes are working or good, or maybe to
mhm,
get some suggestions, but that's about as far as we'll go instead of wholesale creating songs and art from it.
right.
So but yeah, I think it's an important conversation to have. And really, they just don't want the artists, they don't want their pre-existing compositions to be used to train the AI. So
Right.
that's one of the big things too, as well. And some of that, the cat's already out of the bag. It's already a little bit
Yeah.
too late. You could say, write me a jingle in the style of the Eagles or the Beatles or, anyone like that. And it'll be able to do it because it has
Yeah.
taken pre-existing compositions, but protecting their artistic integrity and security going forward. So, yeah. So what else do you have going on?
All right. So is Chat GPT-5 coming this summer? And there has been some conversations recently. Sam Altman has been on podcast after podcast, show after show, just talking. And usually when that happens, it's a PR push. It's not a magic, coincidence that all of a sudden somebody ahead of a company is on a whole bunch of shows to talk about stuff. And it's probably going to be a variation this summer. But what has happened is uh, 4.5, in a sense, Turbo is out. Now, it's not
Okay.
in the chat part, but it is available if you have Open API. If you have OpenAI's API, you go into the
Okay.
playground area. Turbo is available for you now, which is supposed to be a step up. I've played with it a little bit. It'll actually give you comparisons between the two. So if you wanted to compare two list making systems, or how would one compare to the others, you can see that in the playground if you have an OpenAI account. So this will probably be coming. I don't think that this is the new grand version that's supposed to be out there, or to be coming, that they're kind of teasing. They did Turbo 3.5 before they released 4.0. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
think it's underway. It very well could be within the next 6 months, and it's going to be a big leap. It really is. I mean, you have to remember, a lot of companies still right now are struggling to benchmark and compare to 4.0.
Yeah.
And so this Turbo is probably going to push them ahead a little bit. It's going to be a little bit harder, and maybe Turbo will be available. I don't know, whatever it may be. It's going to be enough of a leap that I have a feeling it's going to leave everybody in the dust. So,
Nice. Okay.
because right
Well,
now
hey.
there are some that are doing a little bit better than 4. I do think Claude, that I was using earlier. Of course, I was
Mhm.
basically like using. It'd be like using Chat GPT 3 is what I was using when I had, say, 4 or 5 available, when we were doing our little thing back and forth, doing some lists. So I have found that Claude does some really nice work when I let it loose. So, but anyway,
Very good. All right.
yeah.
Well, we are continuing to bring these AI topics to the masses here, and so we're excited to have any sort of guests. Anyone has any topics or any conversations they want us to cover, send us a message. Website is creativeentrepreneursshow.com,
Yep.
and yeah,
All right. Very good. Good show. Good topics. Helping those creative entrepreneurs out there kind of explore this landscape we have in front of us. So we'll talk to everyone next week.
very good. Thank you.